Merry Christmas, everyone, and it's fine Christmas. I will read Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by Robert L.May. 'Tis the day before Christmas, and all through the hills the reindeers were playing, enjoying the spills of skating and coasting and climbing the willows, and hopscotch and leapfrog, protected by pillows, while every so often they'd stop to call names at one little deer not allowed in their games. Ha ha, look at Rudolph, his nose is a sight. It's red as a beet, twice as big, twice as bright. While Rudolph just wept, what else could he do? He knew that the things they were saying were true. Where most reindeers' noses are brownish and tiny, poor Rudolph's was red, very large and quite shiny. In daylight it dazzled, the picture shows that. At night time it glowed like the eyes of a cat, and putting dirt on it just made it look muddy. Oh boy, he was mad when they nicknamed him Ruddy. Although he was lonesome, he was always good, obeying his parents, a good reindeer should. That's why on this day Rudolph almost felt playful. He hoped that from Santa, soon driving his sleigh full of presents and candies and dollies and toys for good little animals, good girls and boys, he'd get just as much, and this is what pleased him, as the happier, handsomer reindeer who teased him. So as night and a fog hid the world like a hood, he went to bed hopeful, he knew he would be good. While way up north, on the same foggy night, old Santa was packing his sleigh for the flight. This fog, he complained, will be hard to get through. He shook his round head, and his tummy shook too. Without any stars, or moon as our compass, this extra dark night is quite likely to stump us. To keep from collisions, we'll have to fly slow. To keep our direction, we'll have to fly low. We'll see it by the street lamps and houses tonight, in order to finish before it gets light. Just think how the boys and girls' faith would be shaken if we didn't reach them before they were wakened. Come Dasher, come Dancer, come Prancer and Vixen, come Comet, come Cupid, come Donner and Blitzen. Be quick with your suppers, get hitched in a hurry. You too will find fog a delay and a worry. And Santa was right, as he always is. The fog was as thick as a soda's wet fizz. Just not getting lost needed all Santa's skills, with street lamps and numbers most difficult still. He tangled in treetops again and again, barely missed hitting a tri-moded plane. He still made good speed, with much twisting and turning, as long as the street lamps and house lights were burning. At each house, first noting the people who lived there, he'd quickly select the right presents to give there. By midnight, however, the last light had fled, for even big people had then gone to bed, because it might wake them. A match was denied him. Oh my, how he wished for just one star to guide him. Through dark streets and houses old, Santa fared poorly, and now he picked the presents more slowly, less surely. He really was worried, for what would he do if folks started waking before he was through? The air was still foggy, the night dark and dear, when Santa arrived at home of the deer, a ledge that he tripped on while sneaking the chimney gave Santa a spill and painful skin's knee. The room he came down in was blacker than ink. He went for a chair and then found it a sink. The first reindeer bedroom was so very black. He tripped on a rug and fell flat on his back, so dark that he had to move close to the bed and squint very hard at the sleeping deer's head before he could choose the right kind of toy, a doll for a girl or a train for a boy. But all this took time and filled Santa with gloom, while slowly he groped towards the next reindeer's room. The door he had just opened when, to his surprise, a dim but quite faint, quite definitive light met his eyes. The lamp wasn't bright, the glowing came instead from something that lay at the head of the bed. And there lay, but wait now, what would you suppose? The glowing, you've guessed it, was Rudolph's red nose. So this room was easy, this one was little light, that Santa picked quickly the guess that were right. How happy he was till he went out the door, and the rest of the house was as black as before, so black that it made every step a dark mystery. And then came the greatest idea in history. He went back to Rudolph and started to shake him, of course very gently in order to wake him, and Rudolph could scarcely believe his own eyes. You can just imagine his joy and surprise at seeing who stood there so real and so near, while telling the tale we've already told here. Poor Santa's sad tale of distress and delay, the fog and the darkness and losing the way, the horrible fear that some children might waken before his complete Christmas trip had been taken. And you, he told Rudolph, may yet see the day, your wonderful forehead may yet prove the way, or a wonderful triumph it might actually be. Old Santa, you notice, was extra polite to Rudolph regarding his wonderful forehead. To call it a big shining nose would sound horrid. I need you, said Santa, to help me tonight to lead all my deer on the rest of our flight. And Rudolph broke out into such a big grin, it almost connected his ears and his chin. A note for his folks, as he dashed off in a hurry. I've gone to help Santa, he wrote, do not worry. Said Santa, my sleigh I'll bring down to the lawn. You'll stick in the chimney, and in a flash he was gone. So Rudolph pranced out the door very gay, and took his proud place at the head of the sleigh. The rest of the night, well, what would you guess? Old Santa's idea was a brilliant success, and brilliant was almost no word for the way that Rudolph directed the deer in the sleigh. In spite of the fog, they flew quickly and low and made such good use of the wonderful glow from Rudolph's forehead to each intersection that not even once did they lose their direction. Or as for the houses and the streets with a sign on them, they merely flew close that Rudolph would shine on them, to tell who lived there and just what to give whom. They'd fly by each window and peek in the room. Old Santa knew always which children were good and minded their parents, and ate as they should, so Santa selected the gifts that was right, and Rudolph's forehead just gave enough light. It all went so fast, and before it was day, the very last present was given away. The very last stocking was filled to the top, just as the sun was preparing to pop. The sun woke the reindeer in Rudolph's hometown. They found the short message he had written down. They gathered outside to wait his return, and were they excited, astonished to learn that Rudolph, the ugliest deer of them all, Rudolph the red-nosed, bashful and small, the funny-faced fellow that always called names and practically never allowed in their games, was now to be envied by all far and near, for no greater honour to come to a deer, and riding with Santa and guiding his sleigh, the number one job on the number one day. The sleigh and its reindeer soon came into view, and Rudolph still led them as downward they flew. Oh boy, he was proud. They came to a landing, right where his handsome playmates were standing. His bad deer, who used to do nothing but tease him, would now have done anything only to please him. They felt even sorrier had been bad when Santa said, Rudolph, I never have had a deer quite so brave or brilliant as you, a fighting black fog and a guiding me through. By you last night's journey was actually bossed without you. I'm certain we'd all be lost. I hope you'll continue to keep us from grief on future dark trips as Commander-in-Chief. But Rudolph was blushed from head to his toes, until his whole fur was as red as his nose. The crowd first applauded and started to screech, "Hooray for our Rudolph, and we want a speech." But Rudolph was bashful despite being a hero, and tired. His sleep on the trip totaled 0, and that's why his speech was just brief and not bright. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And that's why, whenever it's foggy and grey, it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed who guides Santa's sleigh. Be listening this Christmas, but don't make a peep, 'cause that late at night children should be asleep. The very first sound you hear on the roof, provided they're frog, will be Rudolph's small hoof. And soon after that, if you're still as a mouse, you may hear the swish as he flies around the house, and give enough light to give Santa a view of you in your room. And when they're all through, you may hear them call as they drive out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." The end, and have a Merry Christmas.